First of all, I mean, you have to play well to have a chance to come back like that, and we did. But it's easier to beat the team playing from behind than ahead. But I do think that we saw some good things in that 12-minute stint or so between the middle of the third and early fourth, or first 5-7 minutes of the fourth. We had some chances at the end, and obviously our margin for error had decreased significantly by then. Even when we made a run at them and it looked like we could get in even further, some of their shot making combined with some misses / turnovers on our part took away any real chance at the end. But game was lost in the first 30 minutes, and that's that.
Coach, in the first 30 minutes, first half specifically, three-point shooting on your part, guys really struggled. Were you guys getting the kind of shots you wanted, or was it just they were defending you a little differently, or what would you?
Our three-point shooting?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said theirs. I was like, I didn't feel like they struggled. But,
no, they definitely.
no, we haven't shot it great in the last few games, but I think I think that's all connected when you don't play well for 30 minutes. I think that if they're getting to the ball, if they're getting loose balls, if you're not reacting to drives, if you're letting shots go in at the rim, it's probably not you're probably not playing at your peak level, where a few balls drop for you just because of the way that your team's playing and the way that the game rewards that. Some of those shots were good, some of them weren't. In a lot of these games, I sit back and say, okay, we've got to do a better job executing to score so that we don't, bleed that much on runs.
Coach, seemed to be a lot of defensive lapses, guys missing rotations, and then two guys closing out on a shooter.
First 30 minutes, I thought, yeah.
What leads to that loss of focus on the defensive end?
John, I mean, you've been doing this and following it, and basketball's been a big part of your life. I mean, I think ultimately, it could be any number of things depending on the possession. But 5 guys have to play together exceptionally hard and on a string just to have a chance to get a stop against Houston. And that's the same way against Golden State. You have to play exceptionally hard and together and on a string and leave no doubt on every possession just to have a chance to get a stop. That's how good the players are in the league. And, so when we don't have that, you're not going to stop very many people. But in the last 18 minutes, we had it. We were really flying around.
Marcus Morris didn't come back in for the last 18 minutes. Did you just kind of feel good about that group that was making the run? And also,
it was nothing to do with Marcus per se. It was more to do with I just wanted to. By then we were down 30, and I wanted to see Baines and Al play together a little bit. We're a little hamstrung right now for a while Baines is on a minutes restriction, and we'll have to figure that out. But I wanted to see that pairing, and then I wanted to give Tice a chance to play because Tice's energy can do what it did. He would be the first to tell you he's not perfect, but at the same time he really plays hard. And when you're blitzing and running around like we wanted to at the end of that third, early fourth, and to get ourselves back in it, he's going to be a big part of that. So that was more of a decision just to get those guys minutes.
I see it's 5 out of 6 now since the break, Brad. I know it's pretty late in the year, but at this point, do you look, I know you're always thinking about changes, but do you look closely at this stretch to think about just to shake it up?
Obviously, I think, Brian, we'll look at everything. We've been looking at everything after every game, every night when we go to bed, every minute when you wake up. You're always thinking about that. There's things that are helpful in that and things that are not helpful. And if it's the root of your issues, then I think then a small tweak can help. I'm not sure that that's our root. That said, we still are evaluating tweaks regardless. So we just have to keep working to all play better rather than when we play. And we've all had moments throughout the course of the year where we played well. And, Danny has said this on a number of occasions. When we have 6 or 7 guys playing well, we're pretty good. And, we just got to get back to that.
Hi, Brad. Along those lines, Jalen Brown has closed pretty strong for you the last few games. Is there any thought to putting him back in the starting lineup?
The first 6 minutes of the game, wasn't good today, but has generally been the least of our concerns. Now, the first 6 minutes of the third quarter has been a problem at times. So starting, not starting, he's playing a lot, and he's playing well. And like you said, he's been in it at the end. So he's doing a good job. And the other thing that I think you have to factor in is sometimes that he's doing a good job because he's comfortable with the group he's playing with. And that's the hard part sometimes. Again, if I thought that, who we start the game with was going to make a huge difference or even give us the spark we need, then, we'll continue to consider it and do it. And maybe just try it for the hell of it, right? But I don't really usually fly by the seat of my pants like that. Usually I like to think and have a thoughtful process to it, and we'll just keep plugging away and see what we can do.
So to go back what you just said before, what do you think the root of the problems are right now?
Yeah, I just think
with the way you guys played lately.
I think, and it could be any number of things, Tim, but we have to play better. We have individually and collectively, we have to play better. I've said many times, I have to coach better. We have to do better. And that's harder, more precise, more together, go through all that stuff. And we're playing good teams. I mean, they're really good. And fully healthy, they're exceptional. I really like their team.
Brett, I know throughout the season you generally want to keep your rotations and lineups consistent so people understand and embrace their roles, but as the playoffs approach, does that need to try to build up consistency and continuity matter less, more so than trying to find those combinations that give the team that jolt? Again, I'm not. If I was dead sold that a combination change would give us a jolt, we would have done it a long time ago. Our starts have been good. Our bench up until this little 5-game stretch had really improved playing together, and still have had moments. So we all just have to play better. So again, if the right thing to do is to tweak that, we'll tweak it and we'll try anything. But we need to fix our play, no matter what part of the game it is and who's on the court.
Brad, feels like this coming road trip is pretty crucial.
I agree with that.
A lot of levels. What do you think the team needs to do away from here, maybe off the court, to
Yeah, it's a good
fix this?
question. I mean, I think that's one of the benefits of being on a long road trip. You get to spend some time together. You get to have some meals together. There's more time off the court that you can engage with each other, and I think we can do that. But ultimately, I've been on teams where everybody was together all the time, and they were the closest of friends, and they were really good. And I've been on teams where they didn't really hang out much, and they competed like hell together. Like, the bottom line is, how do you compete together? It's not about anything else when you're talking about judging a team's success or not. So we just have to compete better together. We have to play better, and again, we're all responsible for it, and we're playing good teams, and we just have to be better.